Tendai Mwadi be thankful unto the Mother, Father, creative life force of the universe. Kuzai Muzimu Mokolo give praises unto our great ancestors. Abibi Tumi, Abibi Fahodiye, African power and African liberation for all African people. Greetings and welcome, brothers and sisters, to this special edition of a show on gotkushTV. And as you know, we are a community platform. Yeah, we are a community platform. And every now and then, there are just issues that are taking place in the community, and doing the work that we do, we feel that it is our responsibility, yes, our responsibility to address and shine a light on a lot of the voices that may not get such a platform within our community. And so we're going to be doing that right about now today, kings and queens. And I know some of you are ready and rearing for our show on the Grenada Revolution, which is coming up in about an hour and a half. Do stay tuned. We will be going live at 8 p.m. UK time for that. But we are here right about now addressing an issue which is just as important. And I hope ones and ones will learn something, because there is work that needs to be done in terms of supporting a family in our community. Okay, and so with that said, I am going to introduce you to our sister Simone. And greetings, sister Simone.
Greetings, brother. How are you?
I'm fine, my sister. How are you?
Not too bad, considering, not
All
too
right.
bad.
All right. Well, give thanks for being here with us today. And so, really, this is your space, yeah, to tell your story in terms of what you are going through with your son at this moment in time, and let us know what you are doing, in relation to that situation, as well as how the community can support. All right. So we take it in stages, yeah. So first
Okay.
and foremost, what is the actual issue at hand?
The actual issue at hand, there's quite a few. My son is going to be 25 this Saturday.
Right.
When he was younger, he identified with quite a few behavioural needs, and
Okay.
we picked up on it as a family almost immediately. We
Mhm.
asked NHS social care for support because we knew that within school he's going to struggle. Unfortunately, that was denied, and they felt that actually he was just quote unquote naughty boy and
Right.
actually will grow out of it. Unfortunately, he didn't grow out of it. He struggled within school with no support. He left school to go to secondary school. Again, no support. During this
Mhm.
time, I felt that he presented as maybe a child that possibly could be on an autistic spectrum.
Right.
And we went for an ADOS assessment to see whether or not that could be identified so that he could actually receive the help that we felt he was
Right,
entitled to.
just explain what ADOS means, yeah, for our
Well,
listeners.
ADOS is just basically an assessment to diagnose
Mhm.
of autism spectrum disorder. So that
Right.
is a clinical term that they use. It's like a some form of questionnaire form where they work out in terms of social communication and behavior, and they tally that up. And if a child fix a certain criteria in there, they
Mhm.
would then give that diagnosis of autism. Or they
Understand.
would say they fit some of the criteria, but not all, but then they wouldn't get the diagnosis. So that's what happened to
Mhm.
my son. They said that
Okay.
he fitted some of the criteria, but not all. So therefore, it didn't warrant them to give a diagnosis, despite the fact he was presenting very autistic.
Right.
So at that point, we didn't get a diagnosis, but we did get a diagnosis of ADHD,
Mhm.
which is related to behavior and hyperactivity. And we saw this, but the two goes hand in hand. So autism, learning needs, and ADHD and various other different conditions have a crossover. So where you
Yes.
might have one, you probably have the other.
Right.
But unfortunately, especially in our young black boys, you tend to find that you get the diagnosis of ADHD,
Mhm.
hyperactive, and they quote that as behavioral or naughty child, sometimes people would say,
Mhm.
rather than the autism assessment, because the
Right.
autism comes with far more money. So being
Okay.
diagnosed with autism, you're more likely to open doors to other interventions and other
Funding.
support and
Right.
and funding, exactly.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
a lot of this is down to funding. I find
Right.
that a lot of young people, especially black boys, do not get the funding for what they should be getting for, primarily because I think it's the color of their skin. And I know this because I see it all the time. And so for me, the problem is that we were crying out for help, and we knew that there's going to be a problem later on, and no one listened. We approached social services quite a few times, stating, look, we need help. Unfortunately for us, what happened was he got excluded from secondary school. And when he got excluded from secondary school, they sent him to a Peru. Unfortunately, in that Peru, there was a lot of other, there was a lot of young people that unfortunately went through the criminal system. And so he was exposed to that, when really he was a vulnerable young person that needed the right type of support, rather than being exposed as a vulnerable person. And they chose not to listen. So basically, within that Peru, he then got excluded from there because of his behavior. Again, not getting the right type of support, and just deemed as someone that had, been troubled young man. But I can assure you, he wasn't a troubled young man. It was just the fact that he didn't receive the right type of support
that he needed.
and the fact that no one listened to the family when we were crying out for help. And we've been crying out for help since the age of 4, and he is now going to be 25.
That's 20 years. That's a long time.
It's a long time. And for us, we were horrified that we had to get the local MP. I've had to do a few mini protests just to get professionals to look at this case. What did happen was that last year we did manage to fight the social services as well as the local authority to get him an assessment done for autism. Unfortunately, it was denied. The council and local authority refused because they said it was being done already, despite the fact that my son was wrapping cling film around his face, couldn't breathe, wearing 6 pairs of trousers, refused to take his shoes, and actually extreme behavior whereby he's physically harming his grandmother and family members, and despite all of these calls of concerns, nothing was done, to the point where family members were hospitalized because of his behavior, which is not his fault, but it's the local authority and social services fault that they're not giving him the right type of support. So my family and I have been through, I couldn't even explain. We would need a lot longer than I have on this show to explain what we've gone through, just to demonstrate that he is vulnerable and he needs help. We managed to get the GP, which has really been positive. He happens to be a person of color, which is very interesting, to see that he's actually put himself out there to support us. And we managed to get an assessment done at a different hospital, but outside the borough. And then we still hit a brick wall whereby, the local authority and the council were saying, well, they're not funding it. They're not paying for the assessment, despite the fact that my son was sitting on window ledges and, self-harming and all sorts of different things. But they didn't take it seriously. Nothing was taken seriously because he had been deemed just, a young man that's, got behavior difficulties, rather than a young man that is extremely vulnerable.
This is madness to me. A couple questions are coming out of this. The first one is: do you want to name the local authority?
Yes, I'm happy to name the local authority. It's Islington Council.
Islington Council. Okay, all right. So we've got that on the. So Islington, for those who are not aware, is in North London, next to Haringey, if I'm not mistaken, as far as the area is concerned. And Haringey. I have more experience with Haringey than Islington. But if Haringey is anything to go by, lot of mercy. The reality. So that's one thing. So we're talking about Islington in North London. My next question is, how, if you don't mind disclosing, they said they wouldn't fund the assessment. How much was the assessment, if you can recall?
They didn't tell us. They refused to tell us how much that was. However, the local MP got involved with the GP, and it was funded. It was funded, so it got done, and he got his assessment finally last year, diagnosed at 24 with severe autism and sensory needs.
Now, go on. Continue.
And then what happened was, I backtrack a little bit, but what happened when he got excluded? Just when he got excluded from secondary at 13, they turned around and said, we don't think he's got ADHD, and actually removed that from his medical records and stated he does not have ADHD and that this is just a troubled young man. Interestingly, the hospital that diagnosed him with autism felt that actually, based on seeing him, he is very much got ADHD, and actually done an ADHD assessment about 3 months ago, and said he's definitely severely ADHD as well. So my problem here is that they refused to give him an autism assessment again, despite his presentation. They took away his former diagnosis, and then another well-known hospital was giving him both diagnoses. And as you know, a young person, or most people might know, that a young person that's vulnerable, that around the age of up to 25, normally the system doesn't support them. They only support them up to 25. So they've actually waited till my son reaches 25 this Saturday, and then what's going to happen is they're going to turn around and tell me that they can no longer support my son in any way or form. So it's all done in a way to close doors and to ensure that we are, as a family, are left with this problem whereby we cannot fully care for him.
My sister, well, there's a lot in this. Yeah. Okay. Let me ask you this, because whether an issue or a diagnosis of ADHD was provided or not, some of the behavior that you're describing would suggest obvious mental health concerns, for anybody, right? And so that would suggest, from an educational point of view, as well as a healthcare point of view, that some form of provision would be required just based upon the behavior. There is provisions within the NHS for basic assessments, right, for mental health and that kind of thing. Was any of that afforded to you? Okay.
They done a mental health assessment and said he's got no mental health.
Wow. I don't understand. I don't understand. Okay. All right. That's one thing. And so the next thing then is, now you've got the diagnosis from reputable professionals. This should, in theory, kick in something. Yeah. But I guess you've answered that question in relation to the fact that he's now going to be turning 25. And by the way, happy birthday in advance to your son and to yourself. Mama. You know what I'm saying? And so you're saying that based upon his age at this moment in time, that diagnosis is now irrelevant, because the state doesn't, or the borough, the local authority doesn't provide resources for those people who are facing some challenges in that regard. Is that what you're saying to me?
Well, yes and no. I mean, legally, once you're autistic, and you should receive some type of entitlement for the rest of your life, depending on the needs of every, of different individuals. However, in terms of an education and healthcare plan, which is a plan devised for young vulnerable people that have either a diagnosis or a medical need, that would formulate to ensure that health education is designed and individualized for the individual, and so that up to 25 they will be entitled to specific provisions or specific learning. All that will be done through the local authority with the backing of different professionals that will collate information and ensure that the young person gets what they need. I'm not saying up to 25 they don't get any support, but it's a lot harder. The problem for me is that they refuse to give my son an education and healthcare plan. So once he turns 25, he has nothing legally on paper to state that they have to provide anything for him. And that's the problem we're in. So they legally don't have to do anything for him because he hasn't got an education and healthcare plan. I mean, even though he's got the diagnosis, they're still not doing anything anyway. The amount of meetings that we've tried to have, I do get emails via the MP from the chief executive stating we're going to meet. We're always going to meet. Nothing happens. And when we do meet, we're promised. We was promised an independent inquiry by the NHS by their failures and mistakes. They then turned it around and decided that they were going to have an in-house inquiry instead, Of course, the
Okay.
in-house inquiry favoured them, and they felt there was no wrongdoing in relation to not diagnosing him earlier. My issue here, my point to them was that if my son was diagnosed earlier when he was 7, surely he would have had the
Yeah,
input that was needed, and we would be at this stage now where we're
I
now
needed that.
thinking, well, he needs to go to residential because he's hurting, family members, and you can't
Yeah,
he can't be trusted. He can't look after himself. Where before, when he was younger, he was able to go to school by himself. At
right,
11, he was able to do that. He was a lot more independent,
right,
but he's digressed. And the reason
right,
why he's digressed is because he hasn't had the right intervention, the right therapy, the right support.
right.
And all agencies have closed their doors and refusing to give him help because they don't. I mean, I'm still shocked. I just don't know why, but they're
Honestly,
refusing to give help.
this is something that I'm going to look into more, in the sense of, I've heard a number of stories about black men in particular being diagnosed late, yeah, in relation to things like autism, ADHD, and dyslexia. Yeah, often
Hmm.
the diagnosis comes late. Yeah, so this is something that we'll have to look at in terms of our community and the extent to which that late diagnosis exists and how it impacts us. But what is your actual fight at this moment in time? Yeah, what goals are you trying to achieve in relation to this campaign at this moment?
At the moment, I think at the moment we're just trying to hang in there, but
Yeah.
behind the scenes, we're trying our best to work out a plan so that we can take on the local authority and NHS. The problem I have is that, and I have got someone looking into that. The problem I
Hmm.
have is that taking on the local authority and the NHS is quite difficult.
Hmm.
I've had a lot of interest via different solicitors, and then when they look into all the failures that's taken place over the years,
Right.
they a lot of them are not confident to take on the case. I have got one particular person that is very
Interesting.
confident, and actually works alongside Black Sen Mamas. I wanted to big up Black Sen Mamas. They've been very supportive, very helpful,
Hmm.
in terms
Right.
of trying to assist a lot of mums, especially that have children that are on the special needs register. And the problem
Yes.
we have is that we're all facing very similar things, and
Right.
it's the door closing each time you go to one. You face one hurdle, you think that you're getting through that, and then another one crops up, and they know what they're doing. They know that
Hmm.
we're learning on the job, and they know that they can close doors. They know that they can stop us from getting diagnosis. They know that if we don't get a diagnosis, we don't get that funding or we don't get that support. And they know
Yeah.
this. And this is the part of the problem, is that, I've reached out to NHS, I've asked for meetings, and all they do is say, we acknowledge your complaint. It's gone to stage 1. I can tell you now, stage 1 has been going on for 5 years. Stage 1,
Mm.
stage 3, and then stage 3 said, we feel that, what you're alleging is untrue, and it goes back to stage 1. So nothing really is done, and I'm not sure if, I know a lot of our Black Sen mamas in that forum know, but I don't know if the wider community know that they are
Yeah.
really failing our Black needs, special needs children. It's not just Black children. And the problem for us is that we need to be their voice, because they're not
Well.
able to fight for themselves. They haven't got a
Mm.
voice. We as the parents are their voice, and it's
Hmm.
exhausting. It's exhausting having to do that fight, you know,
Hmm.
on your own, because even though you're in forums, even though I'm on the radio today, at the end of the day, we're on our own. I mean, because of his behavior, he can't even live with me because I've got other children that also
Right.
have autism.
Okay.
So he lives with my mom and sister, and it's really tricky because my mom should not be looking after my son, who is
Right.
attacking her through the night. My mom's had to have a panic button installed by the
Wow.
police because
Yeah.
he can just go from 0 to 10 very quickly, and it's not his
Mm.
fault, but it really affects the whole family, this. And I don't think they care. They don't care at all. They really
Mhm.
don't.
Well, you know what one of the things that, I mean, if we listen to a lot of the debates that have taken place politically at the moment, and there's been a lot of debates about the NHS recently. One of the things that is apparent is that when it comes to mental health, they're just not prepared. Yeah, and any kind of mental health issue, especially when it comes to prevention, as opposed to what's the word, crisis management. All right, you know, you have to be in crisis, yeah, to get any kind of support or care, and I think that's an issue that we'll have to look at as well, yeah. So you're trying to take the local authority to court at the moment, yes, and you have a solicitor who's on the case.
Yes, looking into it at the moment to see what can be done. But you know, I just need, like, you know, I just need, if there's anyone that can support, even my solicitor, please, you know, I'm happy to give out my number. I just need all the support, because it's just got to the point where, you know, my son is going to be 25, but he's presenting as though he's, you know, 6, because he hasn't been able to, you know, I mean, my son was able to write his name. He knew all his times tables. My son doesn't know nothing now. He can't even make his own food himself. He can't wash himself. You know, I mean, they've done nothing to help this young man, nothing at all to help us as a family. And
Yeah.
we're the ones that are pushing the driving seat, asking, help us. We're here. We're happy to work in partnership with you. And they've just closed every single door all the way. And it's just, you know, I just don't know what else we can do. But I mean, you know, we'll never give up fighting. But it's just disgusting that we're at this stage whereby even with diagnosis, they are refusing to help.
My sister, you held a couple protests in recent months, and based upon what you said so far, I'm getting the impression that was in relation to getting him properly assessed. Yeah, am I correct?
Well, that was in relation to nothing happening. So I mean, we had to fight just to get carers, because his behaviour throughout the day is not manageable. And
Right.
then we got a bill of £18,000 recently to say this is how much you owe for carers. And they made him like this, and we have to pay £18,000 for carers. I mean, this is the type of thing that we're having to put up with, you know,
Right.
and deal with and argue with them, because they're just not doing, doing their job properly.
Why weren't the carers taken care of in terms of NHS? Uh,
The carers
yeah,
are through the NHS and the local, well, through social care.
yeah.
However, they state that we have to pay for it.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah,
More
so
debate.
I mean, and this is why I say they're not taking it seriously. So we've got carers now. Before we
Mhm.
didn't, but now we've got carers 7 days a week, but only from 10 to 8 every day. But what about during the night when it kicks off?
Mm, mm, mm,
You
mm,
know?
mm.
So the problem is that most of the incidents take place at night when he's agitated or pacing up and
Mm.
down, or, you know, he sleeps in his clothes, sleeps in his trainers. He has, I mean, the way he's unrecognizable. He is
Mm.
not the son that I know, or
Right.
anybody that I know that knows him, family members, friends, godparents. They're astonished to what they see. And this is down to the back of social care and NHS not doing their job properly. And the reason
Okay.
why they don't want to meet with me is because they know they haven't
Hmm.
done the right thing. And the good
Right.
thing for me is that I have got a good GP that is happy to state that fact that there's been failures, and there is a few other
Yeah.
professionals that are happy to state failures. And
Okay.
this is why they don't want to meet with me, because it means admitting failures.
Right. Right. Understood, my sister. All right. So in relation to I'm going to come back to your process at the moment, your legal process, if and when you're going to be having any more demonstrations of purpose. We're going to come back to that in a second. But you mentioned an organization that I'm sure many of our viewers have not heard of before, which is Black Send Mums. Yeah.
Yeah.
Could you, and you said that you've got a lot of support from them. Are you
Yes.
able to just speak about Black Send Mums, please, the work that they do, and where they can be found?
Yes, Black Sen Mamas. You'd have to probably. I haven't got the details to hand, but Black Sen Mamas. You'll probably be able to see that on Facebook. There is a lady called Marsha. that is the founder of Black Sen Mamas. And there is, I mean, several hundreds of people within this forum. We have a WhatsApp group as well. Also, so it's Black Sen Mamas UK. I've just had a text, Black Sen Mamas UK. Please try to Google it, go on there, message Marsha, and she'll be happy to support parents. The forum on there is really good. We have a lot of mamas that are from professional backgrounds. So we have doctors, nurses, CAMs, you know, we have social workers, and they're all going through the same exact thing as we are. And you know, but the good thing about the forum is that it doesn't matter if you're having a really bad day. You can go on that forum and you can just say, look, I'm having a really bad day today. This is what's happened. My son couldn't sleep all night. And there's always someone there at the end of the phone willing to support you throughout what you're going through. And even if sometimes, you know, I've had a difficult week and I've gone silent, you know, Marsha or some of the other mamas will check in. You know, I know you've gone silent, something's happened. Please, you know, share when you're ready. And it's just, we advocate for each other. So if there's something that I know, I can share and I will share it. I'm actually a teacher myself, a BSN teacher, and I think that's part of the problem because I know the legal side of things, and so I think they've run into a little bit of problem with me, and they can't just screw me over, and I think that's the problem why they're not meeting with me because they know what I'm going to say, and I've already demonstrated the failures very clear to them, including institutional racism, because there has been a few comments by the past. We got rid of one social worker, and she made some funny comments about gangs and things like that, rather than actually getting my son assessed. You know, things like that. My son doesn't really communicate very well, and all of a sudden it's gangs, it's this. You know, there was a lot of stereotyping, a lot of profiling, and I believe that this played a huge part in a delay of getting them the right type of support because they were focusing on things that they didn't need to focus on.
Criminalizing him rather than caring for him.
That's
right. I understand, my sister. By the way, you can Google Black Sen Mamas UK and a lot of stuff will come up. One of which is a GoFundMe campaign which began in April, and as I see it, this GoFundMe is still live. So so I'm going to share the link for that GoFundMe in the chat right now, and it will also be in the description to this video, because to the extent that our Sen Mamas are doing that beautiful work and providing support, you know, we need to support them, and I'm going to basically make a donation tonight. All right, so do stay tuned for the go on, sister.
And also as well, I've got a change.org website as well, which is Stop Failures Save Lives. And that's mine on there. So if you tap that in, that will have all the backdrop information in relation to my son. Please, I think it might be coming up to 500. I'm not sure, but please put your petition in. That'd be really great. And hopefully we'll be trying to organize a GoFund separate page for my son as well, just to help with possible legal costs. But we're just looking into that now. So once that's done, I will be back if you allow me to come back to share that, or share
100%, 100%. By the way, just to say it publicly, whenever you want to come back, the platform is yours. Okay, so I'm declaring that publicly, and so just to clarify what you're saying just there, though, just so people can know, because obviously I'm going to be sharing this, and one of the reasons why we try to keep things like this short is so people can digest everything and know where to find the information. So at the moment, you're working towards a legal case, and so there's no demonstrations coming up at the moment. What you want people to do is sign the petition. Yes. Sign the petition. So that is the call to action, kings and queens. All right. The call to action is sign the petition. I'm trying to find the petition right now. Give me a second. Because I will get it shortly. Here we go. Stop Failures, Save Lives. And so we have it here. Simone Mills-Campbell.
That's right.
the name. And so I am posting this petition in the chat right about now. All right. All on there. So it's there and it will be in the description to the video and in the comment section. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do something right now, sis. Let me just pull up this thing live. Yeah. So on the can system, me I sign the thing right about. All right. So I'm going to sign it right now, family. Yeah. So you can see this is the page. Yeah. And all you have to do, all you have to do is put in your first name. I'm going to put in my government name. Yeah. All right. And your email address. All right. That's all you have to do. Okay. There it goes. Hold on there. What's it? All right, signed. Yes, kings and queens, sign the petition. Yeah, the link is in the chat and will be in the description to the video. Yeah, it's very, very important. And this costs you nothing just to sign the petition. Yeah, it costs you nothing. Yeah, so go now and sign the petition on behalf of our sister and her family, kings and queens. Very, 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 very important. And so we're just waiting to hear back from our sister, and you will be informed once you sign the petition as well. You'll be given updates, about the progress of this particular case. Go on.
Oh, I was just going to say, sorry, that also as well, we are actually we're halfway through trying to film a documentary in relation to the feature is about my son, but we have a lot of blacks and mamas on the documentary as well. So we're in the middle of filming. We've filmed half. We're getting together and we're trying to film the rest. Because I wanted to make sure that my story was shared amongst the globally. But in doing so, not just my story, but showing that I'm not the only one. Although my one is, it kind of sparked a lot in a lot of people.
Oh, this sounds like an extreme case. I'm not gonna lie. I've heard some stories, but this one is this one is gone to realms that the mind boggles, sis. But I can tell you this: we are a media platform here at gotkushTV, and so anything that takes place in the realms of media and community interest, we are going to be there to support. So how long do you reckon this film is going to take to come out and be completed?
Well, we're filming next week in the half term, so hopefully, as long as, and if there's any other mamas or even papas that that are going through something similar, please, please get in touch with me. I'm happy to give my email or my telephone number to you so that you can share it, because they may want to be a part of that documentary. It's open to anyone. But we are trying to film the rest of it next week, but we can do addition. We're trying to focus on key areas, so social services, NHS, and the local authority, and showing the failures throughout the three agencies, but also how they interlink and how they impact on our black young people. And that is the aim of the documentary, to share that information and not sweep it underneath the carpet. We're going viral now. We're letting people know that it's not on. Enough is enough. We're doing something about this. We're making a change.
100%, my sister. Thank you so much for coming and joining us. I want to commend you for being strong and being persistent. I know this has been a long 20-year journey for you, and I can understand that, and I'm saying, you look strong, you look well, and you look like you're ready for more. And so I commend you for that. And as much as support we can give you here, we will give. Be assured about that. If it's at least just opening up the platform, we will do so. And you did say that you would like to give out your contact details for brothers and sisters to get in touch with you. So feel free to do that now.
Yes, it's 07 931 191711. I repeat it again. It's 07 931 191711. And my email address is FOUR plus PLUS, that's all one word, 4 plus 1, not the word one, just one. So that's 4 plus 1 at hotmail.co.uk. You can email me, you can send me a message. if you're going through the same thing or you need advice. So I'm also in the mix of things. I'm also trying to set up my own business to support our special needs young people in the way
Beautiful.
that they learn. So creating resources for them in the way they learn, because it's very apparent that our Black children learn differently, and they're not learning, they're not learning a certain way within schools. That is just neurotypical children, not alone those that are special needs children. So there is
Yes.
a different way that we have to manage them, and the system does
100.
not know how to manage our neurotypical children, not alone our SEN children. So I have, set up a business. The website should be out in a week's time.
Beautiful.
And on the 28th, I should be launching that. I haven't got all the details of the place yet, but someone's organising that for me to launch that. But it's called Sen World UK. So that will be live.
Yeah?
Sorry?
On the 28th of October.
On the 28th of October, I'd have to message you to give you all the details.
Yes,
I
all
haven't
the
got it to
details,
hand.
yeah.
On Saturday the 28th, there is a Black History Month, Black Traders Only happening in Hackney. I can't remember the community hall, but I was given information and I jumped on it and said, yes, I'm ready to share my new business. It will be the first kind of launch I will be doing. But I just want to give more to our Black special needs parents and children, because not enough has been done. So if everyone does a little, as a community, as a village, we'll be okay. But we need to all do more.
When is the website going to be ready? You say next week?
Oh, my company's already my company's already up and running. I registered that a few months ago, but in terms of launching it, it will be done
at that
on
event.
28th. Yeah.
Okay. Would you like to share the website just so people can check it out when it's going to be public?
My website is Senworld, www.senworld UK.
Right. www.
Yeah.
Sen
And it's
World.
Senworld. But it's not the domain is not going to be ready till next week. So you won't be able to Google it, find it. Yeah.
That's fine. So yeah, but because we're doing it now,
week will be up.
Yeah. Next week. So check it out. Yeah, senworld.co.uk or just .uk?
.uk.
Senworld, SEN Kings and Queens. Yeah, that's where you need to go. That is where you need to go. My sister, thank you. And I think what we'll do is we'll check in with you after the launch as well. And just ask you how it went. Yeah, so we'll get you in, if it's even for 15 minutes, we'll get you on just to talk about the launch and how the launch went, and check in with you. Yeah. Stay there. I'm gonna speak to you after we come off live. Yeah.
No problem. Thank you, brother. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, family. So that was Sister Simone. Yeah. Sharing, the plight of herself, her children, and her family with us. Very, very important that as a media platform, we shine a light on those voices in our community, and we are going to continue to do so. I want to send a special shout out to Sister Natasha for alerting me to this particular case and ensuring that this interview took place. Yeah. Thank you very much, Sister Natasha, for all of your work in supporting and spreading the word about the plight of this family. Brothers and sisters, we are not finished for the evening. We have, as you know, our regular 8 p.m. slot coming up at 8 p.m. Which is 45 minutes. So do stay tuned. Yeah, come back for our part 2, looking at the Grenada Revolution in about 45 minutes time. I look forward to seeing you then, and always remember, you ain't got nothing if you ain't got kush. Peace.